Hi everyone! Today I will be discussing the controversy between CreepShow Art and Emily Artful that began in late 2021 and remains mostly unresolved. The controversy began after CreepShow Art, or Shannon, was exposed for having been posting anonymously on the forum site lolcow.farm for a number of years. In these exposed posts, she was defaming not only Emily Artful but many other YouTubers and internet personalities that considered Shannon to be a friend. The disagreement between the two focuses mainly on their dual accusations of stalking and harassment. Emily's main claim is that Shannon stalked, harassed, and online bullied her, and that she suffered through real-world consequences, such as losing a job, due to Shannon's jealousy at the fact that Emily had previously been with Shannon's current partner. Shannon turned these claims back onto Emily, stating that everything which she was claiming was truly actions that had been taken against Shannon due to Emily's remaining obsession with her ex-partner. Specifically, I will be using one video from each creator. I will be using the video titled CreepShow Art Has Always Been This Way by Emily Artful, posted on June 12, 2021, and the video titled The Lies of Emily Artful with Evidence by CreepShow Art, posted on December 31, 2021. These two videos work as a one-to-one opposition of each other, directly refuting each person's claims. In discussing the situation between the two, I hope to bring to light the ways in which modern orators use modern forms of communication to create and engage in rhetorical situations. The style of videos posted by the two are essentially video essays, in which they read long written scripts that they have likely at least partially memorized. This is similar to the manners in which rhetoricians such as Plato and Aristotle would have done their speeches, only YouTubers enter the homes of their audience virtually and not physically. Rhetorically, the situation between the two YouTubers is interesting for the fact that they are, essentially, making the same argument. Because they are arguing for the same points, the scholar Quintilian lends an interesting rhetorical perspective. Quintilian postures that a true orator is, quote, a good man, end quote, and that successful oratory is when said good man, quote, speaks well, end quote. Because the two YouTubers are essentially making the same argument, a listener must decide who they believe does a better job of connecting to those distinctions. Whether Shannon or Emily counts as a good man speaking well is entirely dependent on their ability to engage with rhetoric and their means of posing their arguments. When considering the differences in how the two women pose their arguments, it is important to consider how they set themselves up and connect with their audience. It is here that Aristotle and the Sophists come into play when rhetorically analyzing the two. Aristotle has three modes of persuasion that he identifies. They are ethos, pathos, and logos, which he describes respectively as, quote, depending on the character of the speaker, putting the audience into a certain frame of mind, and proof provided by the words of the speech, end quote. These modes of persuasion are often seen as the basis for an argument. Each of the women uses the modes of persuasion in a slightly different manner. As such, they are both effective and ineffective in their own regards. When it comes to ethos or credibility, Shannon uses 2 points on how she would be posting her video if it is, quote, legally allowed, end quote.
If you are seeing this video, it means one of two things has happened. Either one, my lawyers negotiated with Emily's lawyers and we reached a private settlement which resulted in some form of retraction, or two, I took Emily to court for defamation and came out the other side. This video is being made for posterity to show I didn't do what I was accused of, and to show that what Emily has accused me and my husband of not only never happened to her, but could not have happened. This video is being made to simply defend my and my husband's name and prove we did not do the things we were accused of.
She is making a claim that she has legal backing. Her argument is credible because the court system is on her side in all of this. It is unclear whether it is true, as no evidence is provided that she has actually been to court or dealing with a lawyer. In her attempt to establish ethos, she lacks the credibility she needs to earn it. Emily Artful, on the other hand, spends a good deal of time discussing her past failings and how she is still that person but has grown.
So I would shit on celebrities and say really fucked up things. Like I'd slut shame them. I was super fat phobic. I was not a good person. That's not a different person, by the way. I don't like when people say, well, I'm not that person. I was that person. That person evolved. That person reflected. And that person had to change, especially when I got sober. I really, really feel like my eyes started to open up as my brain repaired itself.
In the clip just shown, Emily sets herself up as someone who knows her own faults and understands why she may have previously been viewed as uncredible but is now credible. Emily is more believable as she does not make grand claims. Her credibility lies in her own lived experience, which is more likely to be believed by a viewer without direct proof. In regards to pathos, or the appeal to the audience's emotions, the way in which the two creators start their videos is a prime example of how they use this particular mode of persuasion. Emily Artful makes the decision to use her own face for the first approximately 3 minutes of her video before switching to just a video of her speed drawing. This creates a sense of familiarity with your audience and was likely done in an effort to make her seem more personable and real. By then switching to a video not of herself, she's creating a distance that does to some extent take away from her pathos. The audience is less likely to feel emotionally attached to a drawing than they would the visible emotion on her face. Shannon, for her part, makes a similar mistake in her attempt at pathos. During the video, she does not show her own face outside of a few relevant screenshots and images. This holds her completely disconnected from her audience. I believe this was done to separate herself from previous drama that had taken place, as if by keeping herself mostly out of the video, viewers would not question her credibility and feel more likely to believe her. She's attempting to appeal to their emotions in that physical distance. If they cannot see her, then they will not immediately associate her with the previous issues that she has caused. However, it does not seem to have the desired effect. Finally, for logos, or the appeal to logic, both orators include screenshots, clips, and quotes from each other to prove their points. They do so in an attempt to establish a foundation of evidence to build their arguments off of. Logically, a listener is more likely to believe the person they are listening to if there is solid evidence to prove their points. However, Emily is missing evidence from the earlier years into the ordeal. She makes claims about hackings and stalkings going back to the early 2010s, but lacks the evidence to back it up. Shannon does have the evidence from the early 2010s. Emily's lack of proof shakes her appeal to logos, making her seem less rhetorically sound than Shannon does in this instance. As rhetoricians, both seem to struggle under the weight of using all three modes of persuasion at once. It seems where they succeed in one, they are not able to give the same attention to another. Their struggle is likely due to the amount of personal emotion they have behind their arguments. Another way in which their personal emotion comes through in this video is the way in which they either use or do not use parataxis. Parataxis, as defined by the Sophists, is, quote, the loose association of clauses without hierarchical connectives or embedding, end quote. Or, more simply, speaking at a monotone, stagnant level, not giving emphasis to any one point. Neither of the women use a true monotone or completely disconnected way of speaking. However, it is my opinion that Emily Artful uses parataxis plenty during her video, and Shannon, to some extent, purposely avoids it. Emily does not really shift her tone at any point in the video. Emily claims that Shannon and the ex-boyfriend caused her to lose her job.
Didn't really have control of much. I tried to get a regular job, and Andrew and potentially Shannon found out about this regular job and decided to email my job and send them a compromising video of myself. They posed as a client, said, I'm a regular client. You've lost my business because look at your, disgusting human being of a receptionist.
This accusation would obviously be devastating no matter the situation Emily was in. However, in describing the event, her tone does not change at all from when she describes things such as Shannon stealing her title for a YouTube series. I believe that Emily uses parataxis as another form of pathos. She wants people to compare her to Shannon and see her as more rational. If she maintains a solid level of emotion during her video, then it might appear to viewers that she's level-headed and someone worthy of being listened to. Furthermore, she wants to emphasize the moment where she does lose control of her emotions. For example, Emily becomes emotional when discussing her channel and how it saved her before quickly composing herself.
To the Emily Artful channel, I know it's been inconsistent lately. I've been dealing with so much. After my last baby was born, just so much. And this channel, I know some people, it's like, it's a business, and I do see it as a business, but at the core, this channel saved me. This channel kept me back on track. You guys, this little community that we've built.
Emily's loss of composure seems purposefully timed to further her connection with her audience. In doing so, the audience might feel as though they have a direct emotional connection to Emily and that they are more intimately connected to her than they truly are. Shannon does not use parataxis, and to some extent, this does make her less rhetorically sound. Shannon is well known for her loud, boisterous personality and her foul language. Her inability to step away from this for even a video as serious as the one she is creating can be seen in two ways. First, it can be seen positively, as though she is attempting to connect with her previous audience. Second, it can be seen negatively, as if she is erratic and mentally unwell. It is my belief that Shannon purposefully did not maintain her composure in an attempt to discredit Emily. In comparison to her emotion, Emily seems cold and calculated, as if she may have been lying about how deeply affected by the events she claimed to be. In conclusion, neither of the two videos are completely successful pieces of rhetoric. The two creators lack of success in using all points of rhetorical theory that they have attempted to feed into, discredits and breaks down their arguments. As contemporary orators, both Shannon and Emily are tasked with accommodating today's social expectations and using the so-called cancel culture while still maintaining their credibility. Though both struggle under the weight of it, their arguments hold much interest for anyone interested in rhetoric as it is used in YouTube communities.